comparison critical thinking?
Well, I want to go back to the Baltic Dry Index because, first of all, talking about the Baltic Dry Index is great party conversation. So
I don't think so.
It is at our table. It is at our table.
Oh, that's true.
We've sat around and talked about it quite a bit. So if you're at a party and you see either a financial geek or an economist there, walk over and say, hey, how about that Baltic Dry Index? Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Liven things right up.
It will, because it's certainly livening this show up. So in critical thinking, one of the things I read in multiple places, I'm sure it started somewhere and people copied it, about the Baltic Dry Index was that the cost of shipping could be going down because they made more ships. So if there's more ships, the cost of shipping would be lower. And since we were such at a boom time, they might have made more ships, in which case the prices would be lower because there'd be more ships available.
But it takes about 3 years to build a ship.
Well, and so
longer.
this is the critical thinking part. First, when somebody says that, and it makes sense, right? If there are more ships available, the cost for shipping should be down. That makes sense. However, is it true? Just because it makes sense doesn't make it true. So then we start to think about it a little bit, and here's the way I kind of think about things like this. So the first one is, they said that this could be true, but they give us no statistics. They didn't bother to look up and call anybody and say, did anybody build any ships in the last year? Maybe they did. Well, maybe they bought, 2 ships. Well, 2 ships doesn't knock the numbers down by 94%, right? I mean, that can't be the reason.
Who are the big shipping manufacturers?
Right, and how many ships have been building and so on. So the capacity is an issue, but if there's no statistics in the article or in the opinion, then they're not thinking. They're trying to influence you without giving you the information. So evidence is important in all critical thinking. I'm looking for evidence. If you say there's more ships and that's the reason the index has fallen 33 days in a row, well, then I have to wonder, did they build them the last 33 days? I mean, how did the last 33 days come to be based on the number of ships that were out there? That doesn't make sense. And if there were more ships that lowered the price, where's the statistics on it? If that's your point, you should be supporting it with evidence. Also, in comparison to the boom times, is it reasonable to think that this is just about ships? I mean, in boom times, we were at 94% more capacity or demand than we were at the bottom. Is it possible we built that many ships? That just doesn't sound right.
I don't think so.
Right, of course. And so as you think about what people are saying to you, it's very important that you question it, even though it might sound like it makes sense, like more ships, more capacity, lower prices, which makes sense economically, but are there really more ships? And if there are, why didn't you just tell me the number of ships so I could judge your opinion based on facts? So evidence is always important in critical thinking. And I guess the takeaway here is just because someone says it and it might make some sense, that doesn't make it true.
Do your research.